Well, the outside seating area for PJs is now open. I saw that as I walked in, so that's good news. Question is, can you actually sit at the bar? They've got all these SD rules, make life even more complicated. Gee, it'd be nice getting a time machine, go back to the good old days when you could fly without having to go through all the security checks you have these days, and I didn't have any of this sort of stuff happening. It just seems to be layered on and on and on. It doesn't seem to be going, we're not getting more freedoms as time goes by, but just more restrictions. So the future looks a bit bleak at the moment. Hopefully we can do something about it. Anyway, here's PJ's. No, the doors are still shut, do they? Yeah, good. Oh, the bar seems to be open. Okay, well that's good. I'll pop in there on Monday or Tuesday, whatever. But there were some people waiting outside there. I don't know. They've got a sign there, an entrance sign, so that's different. But I think I saw someone actually at the bar, so that's good. So we'll see. It's always nice to check out the newspapers too. I never buy newspapers normally, and they have the Australian. I quite enjoy that, but I don't really need it these days, not with YouTube. There's just so much material available. It's a matter of actually making sure you don't get overloaded. That's the hard part. So, but I have my regulars every morning that I watch on YouTube, and it's interesting. They cross-reference one another. There was one I watched today, and talking about one of the regulars I'm subscribed to. So, you know, like minds, I guess. Oh, well, there you go. Just beautiful day here. I was just speaking to a fellow neighbour who was rather confused by our new gate system. I don't know why. It's fairly simple. You just walk out normally, and you got to use the code to get back in it. Because there's actually a keypad on the side of the wall next to the dumpster. I don't know what that's there for, but no idea at all. They're taking forever to get this thing finished. That road has been closed off for a month, I'd say. It's been very hard to record anything. The wind has just been constant, so it's very annoying. I wanted to show you Reject Shop because I've actually just sold my shares there. Yeah, I got rid of all my shareholdings in Reject Shop because they're quite volatile. When they go up quite a bit, but they can drop really fast. So I thought, well, bugger this, I'm just going to take myself a nice profit. And it won't be fully taxed because I've actually owned the shares longer than I thought about. So probably 2 or 3 years. I bought them in a couple of parcels, but I've had them for a while. So you halve the actual profit because the capital gain is halved if you own the shares for after a year. So I'm not going to have that much income like many Australians this year, so it's not going to be an issue. I'll certainly be getting a tax return, but that won't be as high as in the past because the dividends I've received have been much lower this year, and of course you receive virtually no interest on your savings, so I've got a bit of cash, and that's going to be absolutely useless as far as earning income. So yeah. Also I watched this new show called The Most Dangerous Game. It was okay. It starred Christopher Waltz, who's done a few things, done some films with Tarantino, and Ignious Bastards, he was in that, a leading role, and sort of German I think he is, and he's quite a good actor, and the plot was okay. It's got cliched elements like many of them do, but it was reasonably put together. But that wasn't the issue. The issue was that all the episodes were 7 to 8 minutes in length. And this is a thing called Quibi, which is what's it called? Quick Bites it stands for. It's a company that's been set up specifically for people who have got low attention spans and they're watching on mobile devices. And they raised about $150 million in capital to get this thing started. It has some major heavyweights from Hollywood behind it, so they got investors okay, and they set it up in 2018. But it's been a dog. I can't stand it. It means it's just like normal programming but cut into much smaller bites, and it's just a pace. It's a pain in the ass because you're watching 7 or 8 minutes and you get to a plot point, and then it finishes and you've got to get another episode in effect. So yeah, it's a real drag. So I'm not impressed with it. There's been a couple of shows that have done that. So I just watched another one which had Will Ford in it, who's quite a good comic actor, and Caitlin, what's her last name? Blonde girl, but she's quite good too. So it was they were basically flipping houses, and they got involved with the mafia in Mexico, and it was okay. It was entertaining, but again, they were all 7 or 8 minute lots, and it just became a drag to watch. So I'm glad they're not doing well, because I don't want to see that as a format where a lot of talent goes to it. I think the standard format of half hour, and 1.5 hours seems to work pretty well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And walk through the battery again. All the bats going crazy. Yep. One of these days we might get rid of them, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm going to head off to PJ's and see what the situation is with getting a pint of Guinness. This will be my first attempt since I've got back from Vietnam, because I hadn't had a drink there since probably November last year, so a very long time between drinks. Oh, well, no one in the library, no staff members or anything, just dead as a doornail. But I looked up flights to Vietnam yesterday just out of curiosity, and actually there are flights with Vietnam Airlines commencing in August from Sydney, and there are flights from Jetstar flights from Cairns to Sydney. But the trouble is, the way they're scheduled, they're a cut down schedule. There's no morning flights, and the Vietnam Airlines flight actually leaves at 10 o'clock in the morning, so I'd have to stay overnight in Sydney, which is a bit of a drag. So it's possible I could do that, but first off I've got to get the okay from the Vietnamese to actually be able to fly back there, and no foreigners at this stage. The next step is going to be allowing people to go to specific resorts over there that have been COVID-19 okayed. They have to get the okay with COVID before they'll allow people to travel there. But after that, then presumably certain countries will be allowed to travel back to Vietnam, and I think Australia will be one of them, because we were all mentioned in I think it's the Saigon Times. I'm not sure what the name of the paper is. I look online. I think it's the Saigon Times. Anyway, I get an update through them, and the wheels are moving. Hopefully might hear something more positive about July the 1st. We'll see how we go. And I think it's July the 12th that the state borders are opened again, which is way overdue, but at least it's happening. So that will make it viable for me to get back there. So nice to squeeze in a trip before my passport is expired, and I have to get a new one for the summer break if I'm able to make it over then. So there's a lot of background noise, people talking very loudly here. Sorry about that. Yeah, so there are flights, which is good, and the actual price wasn't bad. The Vietnam Airlines flight from Sydney to Ho Chi Minh was $417, which is pretty good for a full service airline actually. More expensive than Jetstar, but you'd expect that. So the prices of the flights, the Jetstar flight wasn't that expensive either, so I just have to find accommodation in Sydney, which would probably be the only major added expense. I haven't been to Sydney for decades, so I suppose it wouldn't be a bad idea to check out the place, turn up in the morning, spend a day there, then the next day go to Ho Chi Minh. Anyway, let's see what's happening with PJ's. See what if I can actually. I don't think you can sit at the bars at any of these pubs at this stage, so I don't expect that. But I might be able to sit outside and have one. So we'll see how that goes. See, the outside area is open, and I don't know if they've got newspapers or not. We'll just see what's happening anyway. Well, I was positive this place was open the other day, but now it seems to be closed. Limited menu only, okay. So they've got that sign right over the door there, so they're obviously not open. That's strange. What the story is? Oh, that's a bit of a blow. They're obviously not opening during the week, or maybe only at night. I was here in the afternoon. Maybe they're opening later. It'd be nice if they had some information on the board here. All they've got here is they're basically looking. You've got limited staff and nothing about the opening hours. So the nightmare continues. I thought maybe there'd be something positive I could report today, but apparently not. Oh dear. Yeah, there's the old tab. That has been empty for so long, it's not funny. And there's a lot of problems of getting places wet. Finally found the Herbert Adams pies on special for $6. But of course, it's only for the cracked pepper variety, which I don't like. And that's why they're selling them cheap, obviously. So, yeah, Coles is annoying. They don't restock as well as Woolworths, in my opinion. I think Woolworths is a more professionally run operation here. I think it depends on the store manager, though, because I came across a really skanky Woolworths in Richmond when I was down in Melbourne. So it just depends, I think, where you go. So, yeah, so but I do prefer now shopping at Woolies, because I want to get the larger bag of the spinach, and I had to just go with the $2 one because they didn't have it in stock, and they're notoriously bad at restocking this particular store. So I also learnt that I was going to get stung for quite a bit of money for getting medication at the chemist for one of the items, and I discovered the reason was that now that there's a generic version of Seretide, which is what I use to keep the asthma under control. It's a fantastic medication. Now there's a generic version. I hope it doesn't come from China, but you just never know. That thought just crossed my mind after I got the generic one. Yeah, there's about a $4 to $5 difference, whereas in a lot of generics it's only about $1 or so difference. So it just depends on the item. And but I thought it seemed pretty steep when you told me how much the price was for the medications. Yeah, nice day. A lot of people out and about. They seem to be dropping like flies in Victoria at the moment. Daniel Andrews is in all sorts of trouble with the Labor Party. I think even the federal Labor Party is talking about intervening in the Victorian branch. So things not looking so rosy for good old Dirty Dan from Beijing. He's having a bit of a rough run. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I only hope Victorians finally wake up and give another party a chance to govern the state, because, yeah, I don't know, I think it's going to go down the economic gurgles. There's going to be a few economic facts that are going to come out, I think, aren't going to impress people if and when he goes. I think he's hiding a lot of information. And I also think that the same thing will happen to New Zealand if they hang on to Jacinta, and they probably will the way it's going. Looks like they love her. Well, you're going to learn the hard way. They had a pretty decent sort of government with reasonable fiscal responsibility for over a decade, and their economy really went well. I saw a lot of people from New Zealand overseas too, a sign of the affluence in their own country. And the New Zealand dollar is pretty well becoming parity with the Aussie dollar, so it's a good sign. But I think Jacinta's done some, with her new age type philosophy on life, I think you're going to find things are going to go backwards there. She's certainly no libertarian either. She's your classic left-wing authoritarian. I think it would be very bad for that country. But I'm sure that in the classic sort of socialist sort of way, she'll start spending more than she can afford and taxing more at Risby, and that will basically choke off growth for the future. So we'll see, but that's my prediction. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever, and either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.